Nutmeg your postman like you're James Forrest on a wet Wednesday in Paisley. Welcome to the Burnie podcast. My name's Mark, and here with my co-host Jared, we are here to bring you all the news and gossip from around the Purdy Worldwide Community Stadium.
So in today's episode, we have got Norrie from the girls section that's going to be discussing all things that's happening in the women's game just now, and also the growth that's happening inside of the club. We're going to be having a look at the goal of the week, and we'll take a wee in-depth look at football coaching.
But first, can we talk about the seniors coming from behind once again to beat the league leaders at the time?
They know how to do it the hard way, don't they?
They certainly do know how to do it the hard way.
I think from what I've heard is that they were obviously 1-0 down. They've scored a very, very, very late winner. Maybe I think the last kick of the game to score and get the win over the line.
And I think because of that last minute goal, we have to award, is it Callum Schooler, the goal of the week this week?
Yep.
We'll stick that up on screen.
Stick that up there.
Just now. Very opportune goal, well taken and definitely well deserved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's really confident in the way that he's taken that there. So
the 3G is slowly getting there. Am I right in saying it's going to become a 4G, or is it still a 3G?
I'm definitely not that high up in the club, but I'm going to guess and say 3G.
Okay. Because I've heard conflicting reports, so maybe we can get some more information on that from somebody. But certainly, when I had a look at the park before I came in today, I noticed that everything, the old park's all away, and some of the new stuff is out, just waiting to be laid. So I'm getting excited.
Definitely. Well, moving on. So this week the girls have played another tournament. So last year they were at Ochilview and Stenhousemuir, and I think this week they were at Pennycook Athletic. I don't think they won the tournament, but they did manage to get a win and play some good team football and have lots of fun. Yeah, no, it is. It's great to see the girls all having fun and progressing.
However, I did think I was there with my daughter's team. I did think they were they looked a bit small, so I'm not convinced that there were some 2015s players in there. But I guess I think the girls do the age groups slightly differently to the boys as well. But certainly my highlight was my daughter's clearance. She nearly took the head clean off one of the defenders. I had to turn away because I was... The wee girl was all right, thankfully. But that was a proud dad moment, that was.
Well, that's good to hear, not good to hear, right? We'll leave that up to the viewers. But the club are still on the lookout for a dedicated media person to cover the seniors games every Saturday. So if anyone fancies having that role, you can get in contact with us via email at theburniepodcast.co.uk.
Info at
theburniepodcast.co.uk.
Excellent, good. So before we head into our interview with Norrie Moir, we've got a word from our sponsors.
Which is me.
Hi guys, I'm Tommy Robson and I'm delighted to join the Academy. I'll be delivering one-on-one and small group sessions and I can't wait to get started.
If you want to book in your free session with Tommy, call this number and we'll sort you out.
Norrie, welcome to the podcast. Thanks
you
for coming along.
No problem at all.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now, for anyone who hasn't met you yet here at Blackburn United, can you give us a quick overview of who you are and your role at Blackburn United?
So I'm Norrie Moir. I look after the under-16s girls and they are the next level. They're going to be moving to the under-18s, so my task is to obviously get them ready for under-18s because as we progress, as you know, we're trying to build the girls' side of it within Blackburn to make a full grassroots view from early years right up to first ladies.
Fantastic, mate. Well, let's go back a wee bit then before your coaching days. What was life like for you growing up and how did you find your love for football?
Well, I was brought up in Edinburgh, in one of the roughest areas you could probably find at the time, which was Broomhouse. And as what most folk would tell you, my age, it was the old kick a ball off the streets, play long bangers as you used to call it, or you got your mates in school and just started kicking the ball around. As I progressed into working career, I then started playing for my company's football team, which, because we were shift work, it was quite hard. So you couldn't actually play a proper Sunday league. But what we used to do was play against different parts of the company. So I worked in the buses, so you used to play different depots and whatnot. So and then from there, it was just because, like I said, because of shift work, I couldn't really get into football big time. But I still had the love and the passion, and a season ticket holder for Hibernian Football Club. A lot of folk will probably go, ooh, no. But watched football my life, even when George Best used to play for him. So
Happy with last night then?
That was a brilliant game. I was there, it was brilliant. It was really good.
Oh, the atmosphere felt amazing just watching it on the telly.
You can't miss Big Kieran Bowie's.
That was ridiculous.
Something different there.
Obviously, the who was it he's played at the weekend? Somebody else done something similar, and he's just went and smashed that out of the park.
We're very good at losing 2 goals lead, as we well know. We got there in the end. That's the main thing.
So I've read a bit online about you, and I kind of surmise that you like to drive, to grow, and challenge yourself a fair bit in everything that you kind of put yourself forward for. Was this mindset something that you developed early on, or did it perhaps come from your job as a TV licence inspector?
Oh, somebody has been doing their homework, eh?
We've got very good researchers on this show.
No, I would say it came very, very early on, because when I was younger, I started doing paper rounds, milk rounds, and even working in the Sunday market at Ingliston 7 days a week and whatnot. So from an early on, I would say that's where I built up on my work rate, if I can put it that way. As for TV licence, that was actually, as if my kid was coming along, it was convenient, as I can say, because the hours that you were working was in the evening, and obviously my wife worked.
Right, okay. We won't hold that against you.
Good.
I've been sitting here trying not to say anything.
Tell you a lot about it, but no.
So obviously you started your coaching journey with Hibernian girls. How did that opportunity first come about?
My daughter started off at East Calder Colts, playing for the boys at a young age of 6, kicking the ball between them all. And then she wanted a wee additional training that she wanted, because she tried every other sport. She tried swimming and all that. She hated it, but football was her passion. So we got her a wee sort of sessions on a Sunday at Hibs camps. We took her there, and one of the coaches there actually said, would you want to come along and play for the under-11s? At that point, I think she was 7 or 8. So I said, well, so she went along. Then they asked me to help out, as you do with parents and whatnot. So
I know that feeling, yeah.
That's how my coaching career started, because they said, right, why don't you come on board? And I started off as a goalkeeping coach, and then from there progressed to obviously coaching permanently.
So did you worked from what, under 11s, under 13s?
Yeah, so I started, like I said, we started off at under 11s, because that's where my daughter went straight into. We used to take them on just different festivals and whatnot, so I got really involved with the outfield players, never mind just the goalkeepers. And we used to take them on festivals, and the one that always stands out for us was when we went to Fife, leaving. They used to, every year they used to have a festival, and we actually won the Shield for the first time, so that was quite good. Then we moved to the under 13s. I was asked to do the development squad, so take them over, which I was quite happy to do. To be honest, they needed some work. They were getting beat every week without fail, the first half of the season anyway. The second half, it was a massive turnaround, and it was just purely that the girls obviously starting to enjoy their football and working as a unit. We ended up coming second in the league, which was quite an achievement for them, because they were always sitting at the bottom. Then the following year, 2 years later, we then moved to the performance side of it, which is what you probably call that now. And we got to a semi-final, so it was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and still actually in touch with a lot of the parents and the players for there, because some of them have went on to play at higher levels.
It's definitely a good testament as a coach when you're still in contact with people for years previous.
Oh, I'm one of these, and again, it's probably an old cliche, but I was never interested in winning anything. I was more interested in developing the girls and letting them achieve what they want to achieve. Because if you can actually do that, the scores and all that will take care of themselves at the end of the day. It's about their development. I've been in too much politics with coaches and that are just going after results and not actually looking at what the players need. So that's always been my ethos, and it still is to this day.
Yeah. Well, moving to Blackburn United, what attracted you to join the club, and what were your first impressions when you arrived?
Right. My daughter, like I said, used to play for Hibs. Right. So she fell out of love with the coach, if I can say that, at Hibs, without going into too much detail. She felt that she wasn't getting developed, so she decided to leave. So I asked, well, where do you want to go? I mean, she'd got offers for various different clubs. But I says, well, Blackburn's like, well, just 5 minutes over the road for us. Why don't you just go to Blackburn? Not thinking for 1 minute she was actually going to be totally serious, even to this day, about her football, because it was just sort of a pastime as I thought it would be. So she came to Blackburn, and then the person at the time, Nigel, asked me to come on board and help out in the under-15s, and that's how I actually ended up connecting to the under-15s.
Which you've had great success with.
Very, aye. We worked hard. The girls loved their football, to the point that we only used to do 2-night sessions. They wanted 3 nights, so we had to go away and find another park, because obviously this was fully booked up at the time. And we went on to win the double. We won the league and the League Cup, which was absolutely fantastic, because I believe that was the first time that the under-15s have ever won a double. So I loved that. That was one of my best passions, I've got to admit. And I still actually speak to them to this day. A lot of the players, some of them went on to play in the SPL, and some are also in the SPL too. So you got the 1 and 2. So it was good.
What do you think were the key factors then behind that success? Was it just a mentality? Was it the unit that you developed, or was there one particular person?
You've got, and again, I'll come back to the fact you've got to get players playing as a unit. They've got to enjoy playing for each other. They've got to play, literally fight and play for each other on that park. Off the park, we used to do different things. I did the same at Hibs. I took them all the way down to Gillen Beach. And we've done the old
running the sand dunes,
dunes and whatnot, and that was in January, which they absolutely loved. And the nut jobs that they are running into the sea, because they wanted to cool down with their legs and whatnot, because obviously the cold water's good for the muscles and whatnot. So, and I think doing something like that really gels the team together. And then they go out and they play football together, and then obviously they're fighting for each other on that park, and they've got that winning mentality that, you know what, it's not about the score, it's about how we actually play as a team, as we used to say, as big friends and all that on the park. And yeah, some of them are still friends to this day, and they actually go out, whatnot, so
Super.
Class. Well, what's the biggest challenge in taking a team of young players through the different levels?
Do you know that the biggest challenge I've ever found is actually parents? I'm not going to lie. You're trying to teach the kids something, how to play football or awareness and whatnot, but then you've got the parents at the sidelines just screaming, telling their kids to do something totally different from what you've told them to do, and that's the biggest part for me. But to be fair, once you've told them, well, please don't do that, because it's no helpful in them. They actually usually are quite good. And again, like I said previously, I've got a good relationship with parents and whatnot, so I like to think that there's a wee bit of come and go on both sides of the park. But yeah, I think just getting them there and trying to get them into that mindset that, you know what, if you really want to take your football to the next level, then just listen and just try and do what I'm asking. I know that everybody obviously develops at different stages and whatnot, but even the smallest ones that I've come across, they've actually turned out to be really some really good players. because they can actually be quite nippy and quite fast, and they can be quite wee pit bulls, as I used to call them. In fact, I've got one now I could probably tell you about, but I don't think she'll get embarrassed if we mention it.
Well, we'll just need to get them on the podcast for the tell.
Aye. So.
But how important do you think football is in shaping a young person? And I'm cautious. I'm not saying men, boys and girls. How important is football in shaping the sort of character beyond what happens on the pitch?
Well, when you think about it, right, they're playing in a team sport, right? They need to obviously communicate and whatnot. You take that out of football and you take that into a working life, obviously as they grow up, or even just in the working life, you just got to school and whatnot. Then you're taking the social aspect of it out there and actually joining in with everybody else. So to me, I think it makes them grow as a person. I mean, I can probably go back to there was one wee person. When I was at the Hibs under 13s, who barely spoke a word when she first came in. By the time she left, she was the loudest one ever. In fact, to the point that you keep telling her, look, you just listen to me and stop talking. But she was quite good. And her ma and dad were actually very appreciative, because at the end of the day, they're like, you know what, she's like a different kid.
She's really come out of her shell. You could see the
right
difference.
Out of her shelf, and she's got a lot more confidence in what she's done.
That must be brilliant to actually see that.
It is. Although it's about football, it's about making him grow and all.
Exactly.
As a person and confidence.
Well, obviously you've spoke a couple of minutes ago. You're speaking about how you've seen people going to progress to SPL 1, 2 and whatever. But is there anyone that just stands out that is playing at a high level and you're like, wow, like I coached them?
I could probably be biased there, by the way, because my daughter, like I say, plays at a high level. So, and then our best pal, Erin, plays at the highest level as well. She's in Albert. She plays for Hamilton at the moment. My daughter plays for East Fife. So they're the ones that obviously have came through for Blackburn and are now moving on, and they're actually going. In fact, Erin had a wee shot at Scotland, but injuries then took her out. So,
and how does that make you feel, like seeing them do that?
They actually, I mean, as I've even said to my own team just now, it's not about me, it's about you. But as for what I want to do, I want to get used to where you want to be. If you want to go all the way to the top, then I'll try and get you there. I'll obviously give you the skills and whatnot, as long as you're willing to listen and whatnot. So yeah, it makes me feel proud, because I know that I've done as a coach what a coach should do and develop the players through.
Brilliant. So you've talked a lot about a balance in the football work and kind of the family life, but how do you manage to balance all that without burning out? Do you have any hobbies or extra away from football that you don't do, or is it just all football?
It's all football.
It's all football. I could just see that in your face. It was just
it's all football. I live and breathe football. It's funny. Something my work was asking me, like, what you doing at the weekend? And I says, well, tonight I'm doing a podcast for football. I says on Saturday I've got my own team. I'm going to play Finchborough. I says, and then on Sunday I'm obviously away watching my daughter play football. I says, so it's just football all weekend. They probably think it's boring, but no, I live and breathe football really at the end of the day.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, obviously the women's game has been growing like rapidly in Scotland and here at Blackburn as well, but what excites you the most about the growth of the women's game?
Do you know what? If you were to go back even maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, the women's game was probably not as big as it is now. In fact, it's probably nowhere near what it is now, because you've now got the it's constantly shown on TV. You take Scottish women's football, I think it's a Monday night. Then you've got the English football, that they have their own stations and whatnot. So yeah, in fact, I was just away to the final for the Euro just the other week there, which again, you would never probably even thought it's watching. I think it was about 60,000 fans there at the time. You would never have got that 7 years ago.
Yeah, you're quite right, actually, yeah. You really got
so
that.
When you think about the build to it now, is just totally different. And coming back to Blackburn, I mean, going back 2 years ago, because obviously I've been out for a wee while, then you could see it was not quite right, but now it's actually, there's a lot going on within Blackburn. It's building, it's got that momentum going, and it's going in the right direction. And the bit that made me come back was the fact that if you look at a lot of clubs, in fact, the majority of clubs, It's about the guys. It's all about the guys. They're not interested in what the women or the girls are doing. It's all about Blackburn's now got a different type of approaches. Do you know what? We're putting it more or less on an even keel, which is great because at the end of the day, you're going to make money at some point. And I know you've got to have money coming in to obviously make the club grow. And obviously the women's football will actually do that at some point. And watching these players go through, and then, like I said earlier on, going to SPL, good branding for Blackburn at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So what do you think then needs to change to push women's forward to the next level?
Within Blackburn or within the
whole kind of
Scottish football? I think the SFA really need to have a look how they're going about this. And depending on where this goes, you could probably say that sometimes they're not getting it right because they keep changing the goalposts all the time. I know that's a cliche, but they keep changing it. So you're taking, and I was just talking earlier on about the grassroots. They've got the under 18s, then they've done away with it, then they went to the under 7s, then they've done away with it, then they brought it back to another 18s, then they've done away with it again, and now they need to stop doing that. They need to say, Ken, what? This is where we're going to build.
Here's a 5-year plan or something.
Yeah, because you're going to get left behind. England's going to be way ahead of us, as well as any other country. And you're not going to have the players there to go into that Scotland squad to then actually challenge at a higher level. So get it actually a foundation and build on it from there. That's the way I see it.
So, based on what you're saying, if you could change anything, like with the snap of your finger, about grassroots girls football, what would it be?
The league structures. There's too many. Well, in fact, there's too little. If you want to look at it that way, you look at some leagues. There's only four teams in the league, and you're like, how can you be playing that? I mean, it's like when I was talking about the 18s there, the elite 18s. You had 5 teams in a league, and there was 2 18s, 2 leagues. They're like, why don't we just put the 2 of them together? At least you're not playing the same team time and time again. You're getting a bit of variety, and that will actually help develop the girls rather than saying, well, I'm going to be playing Rangers again this week, and I'm going to be playing Celtic again. I only just played them 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? I think that's where it should change. They need to change the league structure to make it fair across the board at the end of the day and make it competitive enough so that the girls will actually grow in their game.
Makes sense.
Definitely.
So, quick fire round then. VAR. Keep it or bin it?
I would probably say keep it with a few tweaks. And when I mean tweaks, like, didn't stop. I mean, there was the other night there, I was just sitting there stopping because it was an offside. It was clearly offside. I mean, everybody in the whole ground seen it was offside, but yet you're stopping the game for, 2 minutes to sit and look at something that everybody knew was offside. That needs to stop.
I think they need to stop drawing lines as well. It's either his full body's past the ball,
correct,
or not.
I totally agree with you.
None of this. That's no an advantage, having your arm out. Like,
no.
And this other rule they brought in about the goalkeeper's got 8 seconds. I like it to a certain extent, but I mean, again, there was last night when I was watching Jordan, he was rushing because nobody was looking, because I think they forgot about the 8-second rule and they were just walking away, and he's like, I've got nobody to pass it to.
I said this last week, I think the real issue with goalkeepers, it's not the 8 seconds for hands, it's walking to the corner flag, walking back, placing the ball, having a look up, and then 20 seconds later the ball's played.
Exactly.
Well, next one. If you could bring back one retired player, male or female, to put in your team right now, who would it be?
Retired?
Yep.
You got me on that one, eh?
It could be world football, not just for women's football, men's football, anything.
Mixu Patalainen. I liked him.
Hibs fan not saying George Best, that's surprising.
Well, I watched George Best. I mean, funny, I was just saying to my wife, who was it, that we were talking about something, or did I text somebody? And I said, in fact, it was Lynn, who works here, she does the admin for us. I says, I'll just go there and do the podcast like George Best did. This is when he was getting interviewed, obviously on the Swally.
What's in that bottle?
Sorry, it's just
What's the worst excuse you've ever heard from a player for missing training?
Do you know what? I mean, I've never really had anybody.
Or it might be very different with the girls. I don't know, because we get quite a few excuses with the boys.
To be fair, no, because like I said to you, they wanted a third night, so they were never ones who wanted actually to be off, and if they were off for any reason, it was probably legit. But the worst excuse, to be honest, I'm stuck on that. I mean, I could probably
that's good to hear.
Coach women's football now. I can't be bored.
I know, it sounds great.
Honestly, God.
It's not really, I've got one, to be fair. Hannah. She is just, honestly, if you watched, I mean, she's a brilliant wee player, right? Well, she's not so wee, she's actually quite big. In fact, she played above her age here at Blackburn. But the things that she used to come out with just make everybody laugh. It'll be a prime example, right? We were actually playing a game, I'm not giving the name to it, but this player decided to not go the direction that everybody else was going, and she started dribbling the ball back the way, right? And Hannah just shouted it out the blue, and it was not what she would normally come out with. Where that you going? The goals are up that way. And the whole place just erupted. So she was a character, and she still is a character in her.
Good. So if Hollywood came to town, and theoretically the women's team, you know, your team, you take them to the women's, you're at the Women's World Cup now with them, who would play yourself in the Hollywood movie?
Who would play me? Oh, I'm a big Robert De Niro fan, so
I can see that.
Probably put Robert De Niro in there. Then.
Aye, no, can't complain there. So just to sort of close things off, what's your proudest moment so far as a coach?
I would probably say there's a couple of them, right? Because one, I obviously winning the double, that's proud enough for anybody as a coach. But to watch players from both clubs that I've been at actually develop and move on and further up the tree and whatnot, then that to me is actually very proud, because I'm watching players that have actually developed, moving on and doing what they want to do within the football.
Okay, and what's your proudest moment as a dad then?
As a dad, I would probably say watching my daughter grow up. She's now going to go to university and she's going to be doing law. So actually watching her and play football and to be as level-headed as she is, I'm like her dad. That's proud. I'm just proud of whatever she does, because she always does it all the time. She does it right. And she sometimes tells me how it's been done. But yeah. So she's the apple of my eye, I would probably say.
Oh, that's cool.
Aye, well, looking ahead, where do you see yourself in this, and the Blackburn United setup in the next 5 years?
Well, I'm hoping that everything goes well and we can actually build Blackburn again to what it used to be, but obviously in a more solid structure in terms of the grassroots, like I said earlier on, from young age right up to the first team. And I would like to see the first team actually being developed and actually being something going forward where we can challenge right up from watching other clubs that have came through and right up into the SWPL.
And finally, if you could give one piece of advice to any young player listening to this, boy or girl, what would it be?
Do you know what? Football is having fun, right? You've got to go and enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it, then what's the point of doing it, right? And come here and actually come to Blackburn, because at the end of the day, we've now got a good, solid ground and foundation of building up that you're going to get developed. You're actually going to go places. Even if you want to go to the top, then nothing's going to stop you, because as I've proved before, I've got players for Blackburn that are now playing at the SWPL, so come to Blackburn and enjoy your football, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad my 9-year-old daughter plays here for sure, because the future's definitely looking bright.
Oh, it is. I mean, I'm being honest, I would probably never have came back if I thought for 1 minute that Blackburn weren't on that track of actually progressing they are progressing.
Because it would be easy to just jump into like an Armadale or something like that, but obviously there's a vision here that you want to be part of.
Yeah, it's building. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have came here because at the end of the day, I like what I see. And as I said earlier on before, too many clubs look at the guy side of things and don't obviously invest in the girl side of things. But Blackburn have totally switched that around and they're investing in the girl side, which can only be good for the girls' football.
So we've also got another little segment we're going to try out, so hopefully we might keep this in or not, but basically this is for both of you, okay? So I've got 3 football statements, okay? This is a bit like Would I Lie to You, okay? So I'm going to say 3 football related statements, right? Only one of them is true, okay? This week is kind of food themed. I was kind of hungry when I was making these up. So a Scotch pie thrown onto the pitch and eaten by Andy Gorham gave him food poisoning. Or B, Chelsea have banned celery from their stadium, calling it a dangerous vegetable. Or C, a hot dog served at Anfield contained traces of lead and other heavy metals. Which one's true?
The first one sounds like Andy Gorham in an absolute
It
nutshell.
does it. I'm thinking Andy Gorham because
I think C. I think this is a bit like the chase. You're trying to put out the most obvious one, but I think C. I think that's something that they want you to think, but I think maybe it's C then. I think C's maybe true and it's maybe B. It's false.
I'm going to stick with Andy Gorham.
You're going to stick with Andy
I think
Gorham?
that's, it's one's true.
One's true.
Oh, I'm going with Andy Gorham one.
You're going with Andy Gorham
100%.
Although it could be B. Because B sounds a bit more realistic because the
Always
legs.
pick the middle option. Damn it.
Because celery, I'd probably think, and that's some nutty job in there.
Aye, there's maybe some sort of like vitamin or I don't know, something, I don't know.
I can tell you that it was in fact answer B that was true. Chelsea have banned celery from their stadium, calling it a dangerous vegetable. This was back in 2008, I think, because of quite a few fans were bringing it and throwing it on to players and stuff, so they officially banned
Oh, for God's sake.
celery. I just thought it'd be quite weird.
When I was thinking about the question, I was thinking it'd be something daft, like the players were being served and there's maybe some sort of thing inside the food that wasn't good for footballers or something. I don't know. Fantastic. Well, Norrie, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was definitely an insightful chat, and I look forward to keeping an eye on the women's side of things over here.
No, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
No, yeah, thanks very much, Norrie.
Thank you.
Cool. That was a really, really good interview with Norrie. I quite enjoyed that. It was good to
it was really insightful, I think, and it's good to hear that the women's game's been progressing and it's not just on a standstill. Like it is, it's got a vision and we're aiming towards that, and it is progressing. Yeah.
No, like I say, I'm proud that my daughter's here, and I look forward to seeing how her game progresses, and hopefully maybe we'll see her playing football for a pro team at some point in the future. You never know.
Only time will tell.
But yeah, we also had a couple of emails in this week. We had a little bit of communication from Mr. David Severs, a good friend of the club. You may know him around Blackburn. He's the kind gentleman that runs and puts a lot of effort into the History of Blackburn page, which kind of covers a lot of the community stuff, posts some great cracking photographs and videos from days gone by, and he was kind enough to send us in. We actually got a preview because this doesn't come out. We're recording this on a Friday, and he sent this doesn't actually go out until the Saturday, so he sent us a little preview. We're going to stick it up on the screen now. So the image you're seeing is from 45 years ago. This is Blackburn United's inaugural game against Bathgate Thistle in the League Cup. Unfortunately, Bathgate won 3 goals to 2. But you've also got the pictures of the Blackburn players, and those on either side are the founding committee. And if you want to know all the players' names, you can go into the History of Blackburn page, and you can find all the names out there. But what it will be good for in the future as well, I'd love to have David on the podcast. I think he'd make an excellent guest for kind of filling us in some of the gaps and sharing some of the old photographs of Blackburn United. And
yeah, definitely. Things. I mean, running a page like that with a town that's got 100+ years of history, is going to be very, very insightful, and it'll be good to hear about, you know, the start of Blackburn United and what happened before and after that.
Yeah, and hopefully we're part of that history now, and we're only going to push it forward.
Blackburn's first podcast.
Blackburn's first podcast. So, Jared, one thing which I've always been wanting to ask you, right? So, I am a coach with my son, and I'm not a coach, I'm an assistant coach. I just help with the logistics kind of things, right? But how would I get into coaching?
In the way that I do, or just as...
From starting from as if I was a parent and I wanted to get into coaching first, and then from there, if you wanted to take up the next step to something like yourself.
There's a couple of different things you could do. What I'd always recommend to everybody, I actually spoke to somebody about this today, funnily enough. They went, I need to go to college and uni and that, don't I? I was like, well, not really. I mean, I got a coaching qualification at uni, but it's not, I've never ever been asked to prove that. I've never been asked for it. So as far as I'm concerned, the coaching qualification I got at the college, it was just for a couple of placements and things. But for me, like, I started off volunteering as a coach at Craigsill Thistle when I was 16. Like, I immediately completed my first coaching badge, and I used to do one-to-ones, and the guy who was, you know, taking me for the one-to-ones, I just was asking him loads of questions about coaching, see if I can get my foot in the door, and I helped those guys deliver some like kids classes and stuff, and it all just kind of builds for there. But one thing that I've always said to myself, and why I get the opportunities I get, is because shy wains don't get sweeties. If you don't ask the question, you'll never know. Aye. And there's been questions that I've asked which some have been said no, some amazing things I've been told yes. I moved into Livingston Pro Youth as a coach because one of the people there knew me quite well and said, listen, I've got this young energetic coach, you know, can we bring him in? And because of that, you know, energy that I had and the passion I had for the game, they're like, do you know what, let's actually bring in somebody who's going to be, you know, really good with the kids, really energetic and cares, rather than just bringing in another 50-year-old of his A licence. Let's try something different. So for me, I'd just get practical. Don't focus on the theory. Don't go to uni and all that. Get practical, have energy, ask questions, and that's where it can take you.
That's superb. So you talk about coaching badges there. So, and I hear people talking like 1.1, 1.2. Like, what does that kind of mean?
I think so. The 1.1, it's your first ever coaching badge. It's the badge that allows you to go and actually coach a team. I think I don't actually think you need a 1.1 to go and coach a team, but I think to be the head coach you need at least a 1.2. So the coaching badges themselves, you don't learn a lot, but it's definitely like a good wee foot in the door, you know, to make some connections at the events you might attend. There's a couple of wee drills and stuff on there just to give you ideas as you're starting out. And that goes all the way up to pro licence, which is what, you know, guys like Pep Guardiola and stuff have got. Or you've got like an advanced, an elite youth A licence, which is more for like maybe the pro youth coaches who are going to take like an elite under 16s, like Rangers, Celtic, Hibs, whatever.
Ah, right. So what's your aspirations then? Have you kind of levelled out, or are you wanting to get higher badges?
I want to go higher, definitely. I mean, like right now I've obviously got my coaching business. That's helping me like tick over. Like my main goal was to be coaching for a first team, you know, a professional first team setup every single day. But while I'm waiting on that to happen, I don't want to be working a normal job. I want to be doing football, which is why I've got my business. And my business, it gives me a purpose every day. You know, it's something that I enjoy, and it doesn't even feel like work. I don't even call it work. I just say, right, I'm away out to go and coach. So where I'm at just now is good, but I definitely want to go and coach in a first team environment and get involved in that side of the game as well.
Brilliant. That's really good to hear, mate, especially the passion that you've got for the game, and it's obvious, honestly, when you meet you know, you've got that energy about you, and it's good. And I guess as well, you'll get to see firsthand all these kids and stuff like that progressing. Yeah,
it's great to see, because like now that I've been coaching for like coming up this year, it's 2025, so I've been coaching for 4 years, because I can only coach since I was 16. Like even just seeing like guys jump from, you know, 12-year-old to 16-year-old, and the growth they've had in that period of time is like, it's crazy. There's a kid that came for a one-to-one today, and I actually took him for a one-to-one like 3 years ago. And just even though there's like not a massive difference in ability, just seeing him go from like 6 years old to 10 years old, it's like, wow, like now that I've been involved for quite a long time, so it's good to see all the kids growing up and progress at what they're doing.
Oh, brilliant. I like that. That's good, and we wish you all the best. And remember, we'll put a link in the description for all these one-to-one sessions and stuff like that you can book with Jared. Brilliant. Well, I think that's just about us for this episode of the podcast, unless there's anything else you want to discuss.
Nothing that comes to mind, no.
Remember, please drop us an email, any questions you might have, or requests, or if you want to join the team, info@theburniepodcast.co.uk. Until then, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Goodbye.
Bye.